Love faded away like petals of rose. Poetry gave way to turgid prose. Love faded away like petals of rose. Poetry gave way to turgid prose. Songs were drowned in the noise of the crowd. Dreams of the night were dazzled by the light. Distant stars no luster adored. Winds of change blew freezing cold. Apostles of peace swallowed in blood. Mentors of men turned out duds. Beneath holy garb were gauze of lust, reward of labor. A handful of dust. When I first read this poem, what fascinated me about it was its marching type of rhythm. Duggadda, 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 duggadda. Love faded away like petals of rose. Poetry gave way to turgid prose. Songs were drowned in the noise of the crowd. Dreams of night were dazzled by light. Distant stars no luster doled. Winds of change blew freezing cold. Apostles of peace swallowed in blood. Mentors of men turned out dud. Beneath holy garb were gowls of lust. Reward of labor, a handful of dust. In this way, the poem goes in a very rhythmical manner. But this rhythmical march is not the strident march of a confident person moving cheerfully towards a desirable goal. It is the diffident march of a staggering person who seems to be compulsively driven towards a very negative state of affairs, summed up in the last line of the poem, where it says, reward of labor, a handful of dust. I have tried to capture the marching rhythm in the first line of the poem by using drums. But since, as I said, it is not a strident and cheerful rhythm, I have most of the song I have used flute and pipe organs and strings rather than trombones or that type of more loud sounding, more vibrant instruments. The poem is written as a single piece, but it lends itself to division into units of 4 lines, almost like stanzas. For the purpose of composition and singing, I have used these 4-line units. At the beginning of each 4-line unit, sometimes even at the start of a line, there is a word that symbolizes one very important aspect of human culture. Love, the strongest and sweetest of emotions. Poetry, representing art and literature. Songs, which symbolize art and cheerfulness. Dreams, which are the sustaining force of life. Stars, that symbolize our connection to the powers beyond our world. Change, which is the force of evolution and progress. Apostles of peace, as those who provide a sense of security to us, mentors, that is the intellectual and political leaders and philosophers, those who give direction to growth, holy men who help us connect to God and to the spiritual world. Each of these sustaining forces of life have undergone depravity. Love has wilted away, poetry has become turgid prose, songs have been drowned by the rumble and tumble of modern life, dreams have become invisible in the razzle-dazzle of today's artificial light, stars have lost their luster, change which should have meant progress and betterment has frozen life instead of taking it forward. Apostles of peace have become agents of violence. Those who should provide direction have turned out to be imbecile morons. And those who should have been models of self-discipline, sacrifice and renunciation have turned out to be lascivious ravishers. This naturally leads to a sense of loss, waste, unfulfillment and decadence. The poem passes us through a phantasmagoria of decadent scenes, leading ultimately to the denouement of a situation where labor results only in a full of dust. Labor is the greatest human value. Whatever we celebrate has been the reward of labor. Science, culture, arts, philosophies, music, everything has been produced by consistent and diligent labor, systematic labor, dedicated labor. These are the fruits of labor. Therefore, whatever we celebrate in society today has been the reward of labor. In a sense, we can say what distinguishes human society from the society of animals, from the animal kingdom, is the reward of generations and generations of labor. But this great human value has been debased at the end of this poem, where what labor results in is just a handful of dust. The poem lists those high human values that distinguishes humanity from animals and then shows how human beings have failed in these values. It is in that sense a tragedy of blighted potential. This poem was written by my elder brother. He lives in a place about 2000 kilometers removed from where I live. But we recently decided that we should work together to produce works of art through poetry and music. We will be glad to get your feedback on our email IDs, which are given here. You can find the links to our videos in my website dogratamil.com. We'll be looking forward to your feedback. Thank you.